Welcome to the Nonprofit Exchange Podcast. Stories by leaders for leaders to help you raise the bar on your own excellence, to release the potential inside of you. Now, here's today's podcast. Welcome to the Nonprofit Exchange. This is Hugh Ballou, founder and president of Center Vision Leadership Foundation. We work with leaders creating synergy around the vision. We impact people's lives. In order to do that, we build a car, we learn to drive the car. Now we have to put gas in the car. So your nonprofit needs the fuel to be able to do it. And there's 8 streams of revenue. But we're going to talk about one specific stream of revenue today. It's grants. My special guest today is a friend and a professional colleague who understands grants and has a whole different perspective to help you get your head around being grant ready. As a matter of fact, the title of today's episode is How to Become a Grant Ready Nonprofit. So, Dr. Toni Rockis, welcome to the Nonprofit Exchange, and take a minute to tell people a little bit about your background and how you got here, your passion for teaching people how to write grants.
Thank you, Hugh. Yes, it's interesting because everybody gets someplace in different ways, and mine was kind of circuitous, but I was a teacher. My background is education, and everybody knows that teachers get into that profession not because we want to get wealthy, but because we want to help children and help people, help parents, etc. So as a teacher, I realized that that was an important part of what I was trying to do. But I also realized very early on into my career that I wanted to go on and be a university professor because I wanted to help a different group of people as well. And as I got into all of that, I got into the grant world, which put me into a very different perspective with regard to helping people. It's amazing what you can do with grants. It is just fascinating how these nonprofits have so many different ideas about how to help the world and the people in it. And that got me. I was kind of hooked, if you will, when I got into the grant world. So I started writing grants, oh my goodness, over 40 years ago, I think. And I've been doing it ever since. I can't stop. I love it. I'm one of those strange people that actually really likes to sit down and write a grant proposal. People will look at me like I'm a little strange when I tell them that, but I love it because of the outcome, not the process necessarily, although I don't mind the process at all. But the outcome is you get to see so many different things happening in the environment that you're in and the environment that other people are in, especially with the nonprofits. That help people. All of these projects are things that make a difference in the world. So that's my passion, and that's why I got into grant writing.
So as we end this really helpful interview, what's a thought, a key tip or a thought or a challenge that you want to leave people with?
The challenge, I believe, would be, or the thought would be, I hear so many people say, I could never write a grant. I don't know how to write a grant. And for nonprofits, it is one of the 8 funding streams. It is something to consider. And we don't want only one funding stream because we know that will probably not be good for your organization if something happens like COVID. But it's one of 8 that you should look at. If you're at all interested, you need to talk to somebody who is a grant writer. Start looking and talking with people who are with nonprofits that have funding coming in through grants, and find out what they're funding. Find out what the programs are that sound really interesting to you, that relate to what you're trying to accomplish with your nonprofit, and consider it. It's not, as I said, rocket science. You can do it. And I certainly hope you choose to do it somewhere down the road, if not right away. And let us know. We're around if you need anything.
Dr. Toni Rockis, who's been our guest on the Nonprofit Exchange today. This was so helpful. and you walked us through it, and it's very understandable. And I know people want to know more. So watch for this episode at thenonprofitexchange.org. So, Toni, thank you so much for sharing today.
Thank you for the offer.